Gemini CLI is a tool that is made for developers, but that doesn't mean only developers can benefit from this tool, because the Gemini AI is just too powerful and too useful to ignore. In fact, in this video, I'll show you how you can use Gemini CLI to read image files on your computer and then rename it with a more descriptive name. And don't worry, you can actually specify the images or the folder that Gemini is allowed to see. So it's not like you are giving AI control over your computer. It is, after all, just a tool. So basically, we want to utilize the multimodal capability from Gemini to see the images and then provide or suggest some image names that are descriptive, and it makes the file organization to be a lot simpler, a lot easier in the future. And also, if you're working as a SEO expert or doing content creation on the internet, having descriptive names is very useful because it will make the content a lot easier to discover on the internet. So it will give you some competitive edge on the search engine result. So let me show you how you can use Gemini CLI to rename files, especially image files, on your computer. And don't worry, despite the tool looking kinda scary, especially for non-developers, this is actually, at the end of the day, it's really just a chatbot that you could utilize on your computer. So here's how you can install Gemini, Gemini CLI, and how you can use it to rename image files to a more descriptive name. So step number one, you have to install a tool called Node.js. You can go to Google and search for Node.js, and then open the website from nodejs.org, and you can click Get Node.js, and then you can install the tool on your computer. It is really simple. It's just running the setup, and then you can click next, and then finish. It is very similar to installing any other software on your computer. And there's also this tutorial installing Node.js on Windows and Mac OS with pictures. And if you want to see the tutorial, I'll leave the link in the video description. But basically, as you can see, it's really just downloading the setup and then installing the program, etc. And it's really just next, and then you can finish the installation. It's really simple. Now, after that, assuming that you have installed Node.js on your computer, we can move on to the next step, which is installing Gemini CLI on your computer. So to do that, I'm using Windows, so I have to open CMD or command prompt, find command prompt, and then here you want to run a command that will install Gemini, will download Gemini package and then install the CLI on your computer. So you have to use this command, and don't worry, I'm going to provide this command in the video description. And after that, you can press enter on the keyboard and just wait for this tool to download the package and then install it on your computer. The size of Gemini CLI, I believe, is around 50 megabytes right now. Could be bigger in the future, but right now it's around 50 megabytes, and it should be done in just several seconds. And after that, when it is done installing the package, you'll see a message that looks like this. So it means that the package has been installed, and now we are good. So the next process is we have to log in with your Gemini account. You have to log in with your Gemini, actually Google account. And to do that, you can type Gemini and then login. So Gemini space login and then hit enter. And after that, it should open a browser window. Okay, in this case, I actually have logged into my Gemini account. That's why I just see this welcome message. But if you're doing this for the first time, you'll see something that look like this. Yeah, something that look like this. There's going to be a message asking you, how would you like to authenticate for this project? Login with Google, use Gemini API key, or Fairflex AI. Use the option number one, login with your Google account. It is just a lot simpler compared to acquiring some API keys, so I do recommend to use that. And by the way, you can actually navigate this menu using the arrow key, up or down, and then hit enter. And after that, it will open a browser page, and basically you'll see this message and just sign in using your Google account. And then after that, you'll see this information telling you that the CLI has been now connected with your Google account. And after that, we are ready to use Gemini. So let's open command prompt again. And here, I guess I'm going to close this. I'm going to do it all over again. So let's open CMD. And then to open Gemini, really just type Gemini and hit enter. there you go. So this is the welcome message of Gemini. Now, again, this is really just an AI chatbot. You can actually send some regular human language to Gemini CLI, like, hi, how are you? And Gemini should respond back to you, just like, you know, chatting with Gemini on the web or on the app. I guess, oh, I forgot that I'm actually running out my Gemini 2.5 Pro credit, and now I'm using the Flash version, which is less powerful, but it should be enough for doing this task. So anyway, the next thing that we need to do is that we have to use, we are going to use Gemini CLI to rename files. And in this case, I have this folder that contains several images, and as you can see, the image files are actually using some random number as a name, so they're not quite descriptive. And I want Gemini to see these images and suggest descriptive names for these images. Now, to do that, I'm going to ask Gemini, can you see images in here? In here, then I'm going to just copy the path, the directory. So I'm going to click this, right click, and then copy. And after that, to paste the path, you can just right click, and the path will be pasted on the command prompt or on the Gemini CLI. And after that, you can hit enter. You just wait. So there's something here that I guess you need to know, because from my testing, using Gemini CLI is really requiring some mental gymnastics, because sometimes when you're asking for something, it might say, sorry, I cannot do that, even though it should be able to do that. Like sometimes it will refuse you to see images, even though this is a multimodal AI model that can see images. So yeah, you basically have to convince Gemini a lot that it can do that. So I don't know why there is a restriction like that. So yeah, that's something that you need to know. Anyway, let's continue. Basically, it is able to see that there are 4 items in the folder. Now, I'll tell Gemini to use the tool called Read Many Files. It's a tool available in CLI to see images. And after that, you can send a message. Just wait. Might take several seconds. Okay, it is not describing the image files right away, but I think the response is quite positive. Okay, so I'm going to tell Gemini, can you describe those images? Question mark, and hit enter. Just wait. Yeah, this is a multimodal model. As you can see, there are 2 golden retriever puppies sitting in a grassy area, and just look at that. I mean, it's very much accurate. If you look at those images, you can tell that it is actually pretty accurate. There is a couple seen from behind, the Eiffel Tower, and then there is the gray and white cat, which is true. This is the cat, and there is also a Syrian forest with waterfall. Okay, that's actually pretty good. So as you can see, Gemini can see images. It's not a problem. Now, the next step is really simple. Gemini can access your files and can even modify the files. And you can tell Gemini to please rename those images with new descriptions that you provide. And then you can hit enter. Now, actually, I have done this, but for some reason, when I'm using this command, this prompt on Gemini CLI, there is an error message, like I think it was volume syntax error or something, and I kept trying different methods, but it is giving me the same error message. So I have no idea why, but it's likely not because of Gemini CLI, but rather because of my computer. There is something on my computer that is preventing CLI to renaming these files. And this is not a common problem. If you're using this command, this prompt on Gemini CLI, it's likely that it is able to rename these image files. So basically for most of you, this is going to be the last step, and you'll see that the image files will be renamed. But on my case and some other smaller audience, probably see an error message. And if that was the case, then I do recommend to use a slightly different method, but still pretty good. So I want to ask Gemini to create a PowerShell script to rename those images with new descriptive names. and then I want the script to be store the script in the same directory. So it will be stored right here in the same directory. And yeah, this is my command, actually not a command, this is a prompt, and send the message. So hopefully it's giving me or creating a PowerShell file. I think the format is .ps1 and should be created any second now, and it might take several seconds, several minutes. Okay, I can create a PowerShell script to rename those images. Please provide the new descriptive names for each image in order they were displayed. Yeah, I think it's good. Okay, that's good. Let's continue. So yeah, it's really just having a chat with AI, and let's just give AI flexibility to do a lot of things, but at the end of the day, it will actually always ask permission before it will do something. I need a new descriptive name. Actually, I actually like your suggested name. Please use that. Please use them. Okay, finally. Writing, okay, it want to create a new file called rename images.ps1. That's the format for PowerShell file. And just let me click enter, hit enter on my keyboard, and just wait for Gemini to create the file. So this is the file. I think it hasn't yet finished. Okay, refining the script. Okay, there you go. So this is the script. If you want to see the code, you can right click and click edit. So this is script is actually quite simple, and if you want to run it, you can just run. Click that button, and as you can see, now these images are using more descriptive names. 2 golden retriever, there is also cat, couple, and then there is the waterfall. So yeah, that's basically how you can use Gemini CLI to see images on the folder on your computer and then rename them based on the descriptions that were provided by Gemini AI. So yeah, it's actually quite a long and somewhat complex video than usual, but I'm happy that at the end it actually worked. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next video. I wish you a great day ahead.